name is Ryan. I'm the owner of Classic Shoe and Leather Service in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a third-generation cobbler with over 30 years experience. Our facility repairs all leather items. Come on in. Let's see what we're repairing today. All right. So today we are going to be doing a jacket patch. We actually have two patches in the jacket, plus we have some fill patches that are going to go in. We're going to cover over with some touch-up dye work when we're done. This was a victim of a tear. Okay, so this is fun. You can see that has been torn all the way open. Okay, we also have another one over here. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to lay this out flat. We're going to do the small patch first, and we're going to go ahead and come back and do the big patch. For expediency of the video, went ahead and actually cut the patches this time, so you don't have to see me grinding away with a knife. All right, so we have some soft pigskin. This is a nice soft material. You'll see that the patch is oversized. This is done intentionally. We want the patch to be oversized because we don't actually want to glue all the way out to the edge of the patch. We want to make sure that there is going to be some of the edge of the patch left loose. This helps for later on as the patch ages a little bit, as the customer wears the item, the patch blends in more and more to the point where you don't really see even the glue marks. But if we glue it all the way out to the edge, you're always going to see a hard line where the glue stops and the patch stops. So we want to leave it a little bit floppy on the edge. All right, so this one, we are just going to kind of do a decent amount of glue here and get it to blend in. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to put the glue on the material itself, not on the patch. Okay, so we're going to hold that open. And we're going to do the two sides here first. We're going to lay them down. Oops. Make sure that that's pretty close. Now we're going to come back on this one. Glue this edge all the way around. We're also going to go ahead and glue the actual edge there. That's very important for this particular piece. It's also, time is of the essence on this one. You need to kind of do it quick. Now I want to just kind of blend the seam right here. Any edge that needs to go over goes over. Any edge that needs to go under goes under. Get my awl here so I can guide it a little bit better. This helps me to pull up some edges so things go under. Right. Little fingernail action. Spreading it apart, pushing it back together a little bit to get the edges to seam up very nicely. Like that. Once again, time is of the essence. You want your glue to be a little bit wet while you're doing this. See, the other way you can tell is the underside of the leather is lighter than the top coat dye. So anywhere where you see it light, it means that that part needs to go underneath. If you see it dark, that means that part needs to go above. And that's what you're really looking for, is just that little bit of color difference there where everything blends together, and you can get it to blend very, very nicely. Okay, we'll do a quick little tap. And that's looking pretty beautiful. Okay, I think that's about as good as that's going to go back together for right now. We'll do a little touch-up dye over that edge to get that to blend in just a little bit more. But for right now, that one is done. Now, say if you look, you'll see that you can't really see an edge to the patch. That's important. There's no hard line. That means that as it ages, it'll blend in more and more, and if we get the color right on this, it'll just basically disappear over time. Okay, now let's do the big patch. The big patch is going to be a little bit more difficult. Move that over here. Now we have big patch. Trick to this one is make sure that you get everything nice and lined up exactly the way it's supposed to be, flattened out so that everything is straight before you even get started. If you have a wrinkle in the lining or something like that, you can mess it up. Something over here is pulling too hard, then that can mess it up, or pulling in the wrong direction. So you want to make sure that everything is in line. Let's bring it up this way just a little bit further. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Okay. I think she fell down, is what happened, and tried to catch herself or something caught her. Oh no, I remember. This was a dog bite. Yeah, or not a dog bite, but a dog rip. That's right. She went over to, I think, her sister's house, and she had her sister has a dog there that jumped up on her, and his claws caught the back of the jacket and ripped it. I remember that because that's where those three came from. Okay, now we have the background story, which is always fun. Okay, everything lines up nicely. It's in. That means the jacket's where it's supposed to be. Alright. And I've even gone ahead and made the three little patches to go in the fill-in patches right there. Like I said, for the expediency of the video, I went ahead and did that part. Okay. Let's fold this back. Nice and gently, so we're not really doing anything, not pulling on anything. Pull that back just a little bit. That's not going to stay. Alright, went ahead and cut a patch. Now the reason I like to use pigskin is a very, very high tensile strength leather, but it's nice and thin and very malleable and flexible. So it's great for patch material. It's great for support material. It also gets made in really some pretty colors, not just tan like this, but in some really pretty colors. I've used it in purse linings before, many times. I actually prefer that for purse linings. Okay, so this is going to be pretty much the same procedure as before, but it's going to have to be done in stages because you can't do it all at once. Some of it's going to be done with a brush, some of it's going to be done with a cotton swab. Let's go ahead and do this edge right here. Now the reason I can do a patch like this on this jacket instead of taking apart the jacket and having to do a lot of stitching and sewing everywhere is because this is not a pressure specific area on the jacket. In other words, it's not really going to receive a lot of tug and pull and pressure that's going to normally put it in a place where it's going to have damage done to it. So the patch will hold it just fine. She wanted to do the job in the least expensive way possible. So this is the best option for that. All right. Now that we have that down, let's go ahead and do these edges. I'm going to do the outside, and then we'll do what folds over. I like to do it in that order because I find that that's the best way. And if I can, I always like to try to hold this edge up until I get the majority of it down, or the majority of it glued. This time I'm going to try to just make it around the corner here to about right here, and then I'll go ahead and put it down. This is why this one's much more difficult, because you have to already have some of it set in place before you glue your flat back, where you do all your really nice adjustments. All right, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do the rest if we can. Thank you, sir. Yeah. That'll be all right. Okay. See if we can get this to set in place properly. That's not aligning. Yeah. The bottom patch is being pulled. Let go. Thank you. My hands are getting full of glue, so a little more difficult to move everything around. Okay, come on. Let's get the rest of this done. Ah, there we go. Let go. And we have non-glued hands again. I'm going to go ahead and reglue this part. By the way, this is not the easiest job I do. But I like the more challenging the jobs for some reason. Glutton for punishment. All right. We will get this done here in just a second. Supposed to go. So if you look, you can see the tear line right here. You see how it actually fits right in there. That's what I'm looking for, is exactly where that fits, all the way down. It's like putting a puzzle together with glue. One more time. All right. Edge right there. Oh, all right. Now let's do the flap. Still have time. Once again, I'm really just doing the edge here. And I want to get the very edge of the leather so that I can glue the seam back together. Trying to get this part done before it gets too dry. I'll go back and glue the very last part. We'll get these seams together as much as possible. Alright, last little bit of glue, and then we'll put our small patches in. Make sure all our seams are good. We'll be rocking. Beautiful. It's turning out very nice. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this seam over here real quick. This one's going to get tugged on just a little bit more, so. Okay, last little bit of glue. Actually, move the jacket here just a little bit so I have better access. All right, here we go. Last glue. Maybe this one's turned out more like an ASMR video. I haven't talked at all. Usually I can't shut up, and this one I'm focused. All right. I think we've got this seamed up pretty good. And tap it all down so the glue will seal. And then we'll put our little filler patches in. We'll be good to go for tonight. All right. Sealed nice. Okay, let's see if my smaller patches that I made earlier, number 1, are still here, and number 2 will fit. Let's find this out. Also, how did our first patch do? Holding them nicely. Not pulling loose. Cool. Doing good. We can cover it with some touch-up dye. That'll look beautiful. Okay. Let's do a little patch here and see if that's actually going to fit. Just like that. That will do just fine. Small patch. So I put more glue on there than I need, and then I brush it off with the brush. Alright. This goes in like this. Next one, I believe, is this one. Oh, wait, is that this one? Yeah, that's that one. So come back and do that one. Is this one? Yeah, there we go. So this edge was supposed to stay up. Once again, that's why it's important to be kind of quick with this so that you still have some kind of malleability to your glue in case you're absent-minded like myself and forget certain parts of the process. Like where the patches go. Okay, so we pulled that up just a little bit. You'll see on this patch, if you look, the reason I did that is because this edge was torn on that side, this edge is torn on this side. You'll see that on here, I skyvered this edge on the outside so it'll go underneath. On this side, I skyvered the bottom and this edge so it'll go on the top, and the edge is on this one, so it actually does fit. I have that specific. All right. Let's go ahead and first we want to cover this edge, then I'll flip it over and do all the rest. All right. Slide under there like that. And that which fits like it's supposed to. Very nice. Alright, one more, and it looks like I did the same thing on that one, so I need to pull that up again. Okay. So once again, you'll see that this edge right here was covered, and then these two edges, so it goes in like that. Alright. Alright, so this is the overall job so far. We have put the large patches in, we've put the filler patches in, we've done all the seams. It needs to dry for a day or two, and then we'll come back and we'll get rid of any excess glue that I got on here. Anything like this that, see, I don't want to do it right now because it wants to tear the finish, so we're going to do it real carefully later after it all dries. And then we're going to go back over it with touch-up dye and make these blend in, make all this blend in. And we'll show you a picture of that. I'm not really going to show you the touch-up dye process this time because it's tedious and time consuming, and that's not really what I wanted to show you on this one. I just wanted to show you how we do the internal patches. All right, so nice patch on that one. Nice patch on this one. And we're not actually cleaning the jacket either. That's not what she wanted. She just wanted to do the patchwork, so the touch-up dye is all we'll do on the spots themselves. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this part of this lesson. We'll be back in just a little bit to show you the rest and the finished product. Thank you. All right, so all the patches have dried and we've got the glue off as much as possible. There's still just a little bitty part right there, but it'll be just fine. So now we're going to do a little touch-up dye here. We're not going to take you through the full process. I already actually mixed up the dye. These were the 4 colors that I used. I started off with a raw sienna for my base. I then went to an unbleached titanium and I lightened that up until I got it to a right shade. Then I went back with some raw umber to darken it up and give it a little bit of a dirty texture to it. And then to even out that tone, I went with just a mixing gray. Okay, so we did those colors to get here. You see in the palette and everything. I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm hoping that this doesn't end up too dark. It might. I might have to mix just another one. But we're going to go right along the line here and just fill this in and see if we can get that line to disappear as much as possible. Now, so when we have a job like this, what we actually like to tell the customer is the customer will always be able to see it. We'll be always be able to see it because this is what we look for. But the average person walking by is not going to notice it. And that's really the best we can hope for when a dog rips open your leather jacket. So. It's doing really nice. That's a good color. It looks like it might dry just a little bit dark, so I might put a little bit more unbleached titanium in there to lighten it up just a hair. But this will give a good base coat, and I might have to go over it one more time. But you can see. That's all we're really doing. Want it just right in the crack there. If you can do it just a little heavy to give the crack a little fill so that it's not such a stark contrast either. Like that. Alright, so you can see it is drying just a hair dark. You can see it right there. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more unbleached titanium to it. And then see if we can lighten that up just enough. So for about that much, that should be about right. Make sure it mixes thoroughly. Get all your edges. Mix it a few times, otherwise your color is not consistent. We're not just mixing things on a palette to put onto a piece of canvas. We're actually matching an existing color. A little more specific, so you have to make sure that everything is done exact. Let's continue on our path and we'll see how this batch does. Okay, I was right about here. And that definitely looks a little lighter than the last batch, so that's promising. Getting colors to match exactly is a wee bit of a challenge. So it's something we often practice and practice and practice. So you can see the patches turned out pretty good. I was using them as a little bit of a test area for my template as I was honing in the color. Come right along that edge and try to fill that in a little bit. And we'll actually come back after that edge dries and fill it in a little more and fill in the full coat of color on the inside too. Now this stuff doesn't actually come in very thick. It dries pretty thin, so it's not really good for covering. They have some additives you can put to them that actually make them a lot thicker, which is pretty good. But we're not doing that for this particular instance because what we need is just a very thin coat. And we want to keep maximum flexibility in the paint as well. And look at that, that color is definitely drying a lot nicer. You can see the dark color right there. You can see the new color right there. Yeah, I think the new color is going to be just fine. Alright, well that gives you an idea as to what we're doing here. We'll come back and show you the finished product. And hopefully we did good. And so far it's looking real nice. Okay, so we're at our final now. We've done the touch-up dye work. So imagine it as she's walking down the street. Yep, no, just kidding. It turned out pretty good. We would love to do the touch-up just a little bit better, but the customer does not actually want us to clean the item. So it's about as good as we can get, but walking down the street, nobody's gonna see it. Not too bad. All in all, I wish I could clean it. It would look a lot better. But I hope y'all liked it. Look good. Have a close look. There you go. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson in leather. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.